Hi, it's Alita, and this is my new YouTube video. After much debating with lighting and position of the camera and what goes on in the background, I kind of settled onto this one, which doesn't look much different from the previous one. But I just really I would like to give more to my, I want to give more to my YouTube channel. I've actually written something down, something that I wanted to talk about. So, I decided to make this video about 3 questions that can potentially change your life. And these questions have changed my life, you know. It's kind of like looking back, you don't really think, that's just a question or making yourself a question or could really do that, magically transform everything. But looking back, I can really see how that was the beginning of really, really massive changes within me that then manifested in changes outside. Question number 1. Do you know how to make yourself happy? That's a big one. It's a really big question. It's not what it looks like. When it comes to me, it was my psychotherapist to ask me that question. Do you know how to make yourself happy? And I can still remember, where I was and what room we were in, and really, how it completely changed my own inner world. When you ask yourself that question, do you know how to make yourself happy? I can only speak for myself, but I think the easiest or the spontaneous even answer is, of course, yes, I know. And in terms of, like what makes me happy, at the time, I was thinking in terms of, I know how to give myself pleasure, Really no pun intended, in the sense that it's a question that implies a question, are you happy? Are you happy? And happy doesn't, happy it's an inner state of being. It's not excited or, anticipating something that is going to be, that you think is going to be great. Turns out I didn't. I had no idea how to make myself happy. I was far too scared to even think of that, to even think, am I happy? And you know why it's scary? Because the answer for most people is, no, I'm not happy. I've got all these things, but am I really happy? I have the job, I have, the relationship, whatever it is. So, making myself happy involved having courage. And that's the scariest thing, that it was so difficult to face. Like, like taking steps towards my transition, really going for the one thing that was in my heart. The one thing that you don't even dare to dream. That was scary. And that could make me happy. I'm not even going to go into what it is for you, because that's an answer that's just for you to have and nobody else. Nobody else in the entire world. Not even the people that you think are the closest to you, like family or boyfriends, girlfriends, or brothers, sisters, best friends. No, nobody will give you that answer. And it's really in your heart. And it is really as scary as it seems. But it's essential to ask oneself that question. Question number 2. How are you? This is possibly the most utilized question ever. It's something that we hear every day, we are asked every day. It's just polite to ask people, how are you? It doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily connected to wanting to find out how you are. Some people will generally want to find out how you are. Some people are just being polite. But I find it's one of the deepest questions a human being can ask themselves. How are you? And if you just sit with it, I think again, it's a very difficult question to answer. And why is it difficult to answer? Because it's scary. It's scary to find out I am not okay right now. I'm scared. I feel sad. I don't feel happy. I'm scared that I got it wrong, or that I'm not able to fulfill myself, that I'm not able to have the life that I want, or whatever it is that is going on for you in this specific moment. And it's difficult also because I myself am very kind of unaware of my own well-being. I kind of like, I always tend to, by default, dwelling on, everything that is not like I want it to be. And sometimes, I really have to dig for, how are you? Well, I'm also okay, I'm also grateful, that I possibly have achieved the biggest dream I could possibly have. That is actually also, I'm grateful for it because it just opened, the possibilities of what's next. So how are you? And of course, we all live in this society. We all have to conform to certain standards, and we have responsibilities. And if my boss asks me how I am, I will say I'm okay, unless there's something particularly pressing. And but sometimes just really take the time to answer that question. Maybe with somebody that is really interested in knowing how you are. And are you interested in knowing how you are? Question number 3. This is a question / affirmation. Because the question would be, who are you? And of course, the question, who are you? It's almost like the question we cannot answer, it's what we are basically trying to find out throughout our life. I'm referring particularly to an episode of my life, again, when I was in psychotherapy, and this is quite personal for me, but I really want to share it with you. I remember I kept saying, that was before my transition, and I kept saying, I know I'm not a man. I just know I am not. And of course, I was struggling with the fact that that could seem completely crazy to people because, you know, I physically appear to be. So, um, and there was a day that my therapist just asked me, so who are you? What are you? And I just remember like sitting there and the room almost started spinning. I was looking at the carpet and it was moving. The emotions that it stirred inside of me that were actually ready to manifest, like almost you know, change the appearance of my physical reality around me. And I'm not saying, you know, the room started really spinning, but that's how I perceived it. And I told him I'm a woman. And that changed my life. I affirmed who I was, who I am. And when I say it changed my life, I know that it didn't instantly turn me into a woman just by, you know, magically. But it really, that was the beginning of my change, you know, within. It really changed my life. I got out of there and I now knew who I was. At least in terms of my gender identity, but you know, that's where I was at in my life at the time. And so who are you? And more than asking the questions, affirm who you are, you know, and there will be all those voices inside of you that don't agree, that you can't possibly say that, you know, you're not possibly good enough or ready or whatever it is to say that. And it's possibly, you know, crazy because you are not, you know, in that specific moment who you feel you are. But who are you? And just sit with it. And one day, you know, you'll be able to affirm who you are. These questions, you know, have really had a major impact on my life. And, you know, as I said, possibly I didn't realize it at the time, but it's something that in hindsight, through my journey, I can look back and, you know, see how massively important they were, and they still are for me. So, please leave comments. Please let me know, you know, what you think. Like my video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my channel, if you like this video. I really want to give the whole of me to this channel and to all the people that listen to me. Alright, okay, so lots of love and bye bye.